Welcome to the Elegance Of Nae Podcast. I'm your host, Nae, and on this podcast, we talk about a variety of topics with amazing stories. Let's get into it, shall we? Hey guys, before we begin the show, we just want to give a quick shout out to TC's Art Gallery. That is T as in Tom, C as in Cat, S as in Sam, Art Gallery. They do amazing social media advertisement, logo design, website design, and they even help with social media management. Check them out today at tcsartgalleryllc.square.site. All right, let's start the show. Welcome back to the Elegance Of Nae Podcast. I'm your host, Nae. We have the one and only beautiful Monica in the building. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I've been good. How are you mentally and physically today?
I'm doing well. Yep, and the sun is shining, which is always, I feel like a flower or a plant. Like I need the sunshine, so.
Same here. We gotta glow out here. Yeah. Gotta flow. Gotta love it. Yeah. How's the new year been treating you?
You know, this is, I'm very excited for this year. I think it's going to be magical and just, I hear that this is the year of new beginnings, and that is proving to be true for me and my organization. Yeah. So I'm just very excited. I feel really good about this year.
Yeah.
How about you?
Same here. Yeah. I've been hearing that a lot this year. A lot of people are very excited with what's in store and the new energy. I feel like as soon as New Year hit, it was like, oh, new. That's all you've been hearing is new. So I feel like that's been going really good. So are you born and raised from Detroit?
Yes, I am. I was born and raised on the east side, which people don't believe for some reason. But I was born and raised on the east side of Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how were you as a kid? Were you more of a social butterfly or were you more of an introverted?
I grew up in the Black church. So in the Black church, you used to being in front of people, singing in the choir, telling a poem at Easter, So I feel like at heart, I'm more of a shy person, but I have the ability to be in front of people. So I've always been in both worlds, like everyday life shy, but could get on stage like, hey, everybody, this is me. So yeah, that's been my personality, like the sweet, shy girl, but who can, hold her own with people.
That's nice. I feel like that flows with just your personality. I could tell that.
Yeah.
So how were you in high school? Were you the same in high school as well?
Yeah, so I went to a performing arts high school, DSA.
Nice.
So again, on stage. I feel like what I liked about DSA was a bunch of weirdos. Like I was never... I wouldn't say I was a cool girl, but there weren't cool girls because we were all weird. So it was like kind of being around my own people.
Yeah.
But it was such a great time of just like kind of figure out myself. And even then I still didn't have it worked out, but I knew that it was like, there is something for me. I just didn't know what that was. I wanted to be like a star. I was going to be the Michael Jackson, just on stage, but I didn't know what all that would look like. So high school gave me a chance to kind of be like, well, we're going to do this, but
push yourself.
Yeah. But I still didn't know, like in my gut, it wasn't hitting it. You know what I'm saying?
Like of who you are, how you can learn who you are.
Yeah. It was like, that was what I was going to do, but who am I?
Yeah.
It took me time to kind of figure it out.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So did you ever figure that out once you got into like your adulthood?
Yeah, it wasn't, kind of embarrassed to say. It took me a long time to figure it out. Actually, it was my mother-in-law passed away 2017. And by then I had done everything. I had been a model. I had been a published author. I worked with the FBI on one of my books, like had all these amazing adventures, which were great. Those were things that I did, but I was still kind of like, but me, big question mark. And she died. And I remember my father-in-law, we were going over the information for her obituary. And her job didn't even come up. Like it wasn't about what she did. It truly was about who she was, how she moved through the world and how she brought people together and just how she made you feel. And I remember feeling this pit in my stomach. Like, I want that. I want to impact the world in some way with who I am, you know? And then unfortunately, a year later, I was pregnant and then I had a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. And so it was from that where I felt that kind of pit in my stomach again, like, we have to do something. I remember wanting to connect with people and wanting to just feel validated in what I was going through. And there was nobody there, especially there weren't people who looked like me who were trying to like connect and openly talk about this and how this loss was, you know, impacted my life. I just didn't find it. I would go on websites, click on links that didn't work. It was just a horrible experience. Yeah. And so that's what led to me being like, no more. Nobody else is going to go through this on my watch. So I'm going to create something to help other people. And in doing so, I feel like I discovered myself, you know, who I am and how I want to show up in the world. So.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And sorry for your loss too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like when we go through very big moments in our lives or huge impactful moments, that's when we discover either more of ourselves or learn our biggest lessons out of it. I feel like that's usually where that triggers or ignites something within us. I feel like that's where that comes from. So did you further your education after high school? Did you go into college as well?
So I went to New York to be a dancer. So I lived with my brothers who were musicians and I'm just living just the life, you know, with them taking classes. I did not enroll in school. I was just like hustling, you know, just auditioning. And I realized like my talent wasn't at the New York level of talent. As great as I wasn't at the New York level. So then it's like, like now what do I do? You know, so come back home, you know, after a few months, high school friends have gone on to college, they're doing their thing. And I'm still with this identity crisis, just kind of like
trying to figure yourself out.
Yeah, what do I do now? I thought I was going to be on stage doing this thing. Now I'm not doing that. So now what do I do? Go enroll in school to do what? You know, what subject? Why am I paying all this money and I don't know what I'm going to do? So of course I got a job, you know, that kind of thing. Like, well, I got to make a living. So I started at, first I was working at a hotel, then I was working at a art van, you know, just doing actual jobs. Yeah. And then I ended up landing a job in the mailroom of a Fortune 500 payroll company where I'm literally just sorting through mail. And I would see the payroll specialists and see how they were learning all this stuff, learning about numbers, learning about accounts. They were sending them to New York to learn this stuff. And I'm like, I can do that. You know, I want to do it. So I remember being like, I'm going to take the test. You had to take this crazy math test. You had to do all this stuff.
Yeah, they got to know you know what you're talking about.
They do.
You mess with people money.
Yes, $1 million accounts. Yes. So I ended up becoming a payroll specialist. So it's like, yes. So I was able to take care of myself. And, you know, it's like this was something I connected to because I think I had always been self-conscious because I hadn't gotten my education. And I always felt like I'm bright enough, you know, when people learn like, girl, you don't have a college degree. I'm like, no, I don't. Like I learned from the streets.
Street smart. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But it's like, I felt like I was capable of being educated, but that wasn't my path, you know? So I just kind of learned from the ground up. Like, and I feel like that's been everything in life. Everything I've learned, I've kind of been self-taught, you know, self-made. So I worked my way up from being a payroll specialist to moving over to the major market services where I'm doing multi-million-dollar payrolls and doing all this stuff. And they're sending me out to the clients and I'm traveling. And it's just like, okay.
That's now a nice feeling.
It was a great feeling. It was such a good feeling. Like, I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing this. I'm learning this stuff. I'm capable. But now what? You know? Now what else is there?
That's the big question. Yeah. I feel like with a lot of us, while we're trying to find who we are and we're driven on things, we get put in paths to learn more of new things that will lead to us in the future that we don't even realize will lead us to. Yeah. I feel like that's just very beautiful. Yeah. So how is it about coming about your business? So you just spoke more on that. So what let's talk more like the business of how you started the name and how you flow with it. How's it been going?
Yeah. So again, it started from that loss.
Yeah.
And years before, I had had a loss where my infant son actually died in my arms shortly after birth.
Mm.
So here I am on my second loss, and it's like, okay, how do we move forward? You know, how do
Yeah.
we create safe spaces for other people? How do we make sure that when other people have a loss, they're not searching on the internet and clicking on links that don't work? You know, how do
Yeah.
I make this happen? And at first, it was like, I want to remember, like, even though my pregnancy didn't end the way I intended it to,
Mm.
when I saw that pregnancy test, that positive, it was the happiest moment of my. It gives me chills right now thinking about it. I
Yeah.
I cannot describe how happy I was because I never knew if I could have kids or not, you know. So I was
Yeah.
just so happy. And so the name Remembering Cherubs came to be because I wanted to acknowledge that it is okay to remember. Even though I
Yeah.
didn't get the outcome that I wanted, I remember that moment, which
Yeah.
nobody can take away from me. That loss doesn't take away that was still the happiest moment of my life. So
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that joy and that love. And then cherubs because of baby angel. So, you know, I was trying to be strategic with that, remembering cherubs. So
Mm.
that's how that came to be. And then that was September 2018 when the loss happened. By April of 2019, we were a fully formed nonprofit. I like, what do I have to do to turn this into a nonprofit to make it real? So I had
Yeah.
to, once again, here I am, like bootstrapping it. Who do I know
Mhm.
that can help me? I found out about SCORE.
Mm.
It's an agency that helps people when they want to start businesses. Like, this
Mm.
is the paperwork, this is what you need to file. Thank God I had that mentorship. But I
Yeah.
really just kind of hit the ground running.
Mm.
Um, and that's been in April, it'll be 5 years since we
Wow.
got started. And
That's
now
beautiful.
in April, we'll be partnering with health systems so that when a person has a loss, they'll kind of do a warm handoff to us where we do the
Mm.
ongoing support. We're going to
Yeah.
connect you to the resources, we're going to be the guidance, we'll invite you to our events. So you kind of enrolled in this community. So
Yeah.
that's kind of been the journey, how it
That's
all got started.
beautiful.
Thank
That's
you.
so beautiful. That's kind of like I've thought about that as well, far as helping the moms that that loss. We
Mm-hmm.
had our losses. I had one myself. So it was I know how it feels. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It's not a instant, okay, yeah, that happened. Now let's get back to
Mm-hmm.
reality. No, this is reality. Let it sink in
Mm-hmm.
for a minute. Um,
I'm sorry for your loss.
yeah, I I thought about it really more because like I'm making these courses within my program of helping like fatherhood and motherhood, of helping single moms, that I thought about. I was like, we can't leave moms that lost
Mm-hmm.
somebody out. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought about that as well, because I'm like, they need support too.
Yeah.
Like I know that I definitely know mothers that do have their children. They need the support 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Fathers too. But the mothers that are mentally going through that still, we
Mm-hmm.
need that leniency, someone to lean on, because that's how I kind of met,
Yeah.
that's how I met you,
Yeah,
really.
it is.
From an event, from us talking about it. You, as soon as you mentioned it, it just
Yeah.
brung me back, and I was just like, oh, I forgot this feeling. I was like, man, I haven't talked about
Yeah.
this in a while. And yeah, and I wasn't even expecting you to speak on that, and that's what threw me off. I was like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. But I am still happy that I met you, because I still was able to know, like, you're doing that for
Mm-hmm.
people that aren't, that's been through the same thing you experienced, but even then some. So I definitely give you kudos for that, because I know that can
Thank you.
be mentally a lot too, because of so many people you're
Mm-hmm.
intertwining with too.
Yeah, it is a lot, but it's necessary. I feel like the
Yeah.
auntie that's like, I got you. You know, we're gonna get through this together. You know, I'm
Yeah.
gonna figure it out. You know, figure out ways to get people connected to what they need.
Hmm.
And especially, you mentioned how some people, you know, when they have the loss, there is a coincidentally, there is an issue of identity. Like, am I a mother? If
Yeah.
I don't have a living child, am I a mother? What am
Yeah.
I? Where do I fit when Mother's Day comes along? Nobody's thinking about me, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking about this experience, you know? So that's what's so nice about our organization, is that we are thinking about you. We're saying
Yeah.
when Mother's Day rolls around, you're on our mind. And we want you to know, if you identify as a mother, then we're going to consider you that. And that's how we're going to treat you. You know,
Yeah.
we'll make sure that we get you connected to other people who have a similar experience. So
Yeah. I think about that really when um those that do know me personally, that know that I went through that loss, I feel weird sometimes when I do get the Happy Mother's Day text
Mm.
too on Mother's Day. I'm like, I don't
Mm.
know. Should I feel this way? Should I
Right.
even acknowledge myself in that
Mm.
mindset or in that presence? Like, yes, I know I lost my kids,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's like, am I really
Mhm.
intertwined with this? Like, I
Mhm.
really question that. And also, some family members don't know
Right.
and or know how to help.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it harder too. They just think that certain, conversations to keep talking normal, she'll be all
Right.
right. That be all right moment, or I keep
Right.
hearing that it's bothersome because it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, well, we know we'll be okay.
Mhm.
However, how can you help me right now? I'm still
Mhm.
going through it.
Mhm.
How can I become okay?
Right.
So that I love that you guys are taking that step in helping um women to know that they're okay. They're not alone.
Yeah, let's unpack that
Yeah.
though. To be surrounded with people who love you but don't know how to support you.
Yeah.
Like you feel let down, and we can't hold them responsible because grief isn't something that's taught how to support someone through grief. People say stupid things. Somebody
Yes.
told me, well, just get a dog. Girl, if you don't get out of my face,
Okay.
get a dog.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
you can always adopt. And they are very well meaning. You can always adopt. Of course I can adopt, but that doesn't
That's
take
not
away the grief I'm
yeah.
feeling for this baby.
Yeah.
And people want you to feel better, but you're not saying the right
Yeah. It's
things.
like,
Like,
I know you mean well, but what you're saying,
yeah.
just shh. Just be quiet,
Yes.
honey. It's okay.
Yes.
We just gonna
Yes.
leave it there.
Right. So we need education for the people around us as well to show us how to be supportive.
Yeah.
And the thing is, support doesn't look the same for everybody. Some people
Mm.
want to talk about their loss. Some people are like, don't mention it, don't bring it up. And you need
Yeah.
people who are going to honor that,
Yeah.
honor that experience for you. And you also were saying, do I get to, celebrate Mother's Day?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else can determine that but you. You are in
Yeah.
the driver's seat on that. And if I wake up and I feel like I'm a mother, let's unpack what motherhood is. It's defined by love and care for this other being,
Yeah.
whether that being came from your womb, whether that being came through marriage,
Mm-hmm.
whether that being came from you taking care of the people in the neighborhood. When we look at that person, we say, oh, that's the mother. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's people in your life where you're like, oh, that's Mama P, or that's Mama
Mm-hmm.
this person, because
Mm-hmm.
she is treating the community
Yeah.
with love and care. And that was the same for you. You did that whether it was caring for your body or just the idea of this being you already love. So
Yeah.
you get to define that. And we get to empower people to say, you get to choose. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
else gets to say whether you're a mother or not. Nobody else has that permission over you. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm so excited about, is just to give people permission to grieve, to acknowledge, to accept, to do whatever they need to do to be okay and
Yeah.
move forward. I don't say move on because it feels like you're leaving your baby in the past, but we're like, just move forward in
Yeah.
whatever
Take
way
those
works for you.
steps. Yeah. Continue to take those steps.
Yeah.
Of course, we're never gonna forget, but
Mm-hmm.
we always can heal
That's right.
and grow. So if we
That's
can
right.
heal and grow and have those positive people around us, you're gonna get through it.
Yes.
Gotta take those steps for
Yeah.
sure. Hey guys, it's Shadow Break Time. We want to give our love and support to the one and only Monica with her company called Remembering Cherubs. Remembering Cherubs is a nonprofit resource center for those who have experienced pregnancy and infant loss. They are primarily in Detroit and Southeast Michigan, where they understand the need for ongoing support for following a loss that you've been through. They have a unique approach and providing support, guidance, and validation by connecting grieving parents to supportive networks. If you're a parent in need of that, or you know someone that is in need of it, check it out at rememberingcherubs.org. That is remembering, CHERUBS.org. And more of the information and link will be down below in the description. All right, back to the show. So let's talk about you becoming a wife.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been married?
November 2nd made 10 years.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
And January has been 13 years that we've been together.
So. Amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us just a little bit of the story.
So this was back when I was writing. Still, I was writing fiction, and I had just finished writing a book. And so my friend's birthday was coming up, and she's like, "Come out with us." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I need. I need to be out," because I was like underground doing this writing. So I go out. We went to MGM Casino, and they had a bar in the middle called You Me Drink. So I'm just standing there. Michael Jackson's playing overhead. I love Michael Jackson. So I'm just grooving to Michael Jackson. And he comes and stands next to me. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not in line." And he's like, "Oh, okay." But really, he was there for me. So, so he kind of struck up a conversation.
Right.
And it's just been on and popping since then. Like, we never been separated since then.
Yes, I love it. All I hear is genuine love and friendship and growth. That sounds beautiful.
Friendship, that's it. He is my best friend. I will kick it with him any day. Like,
I love that. That's a great thing to have for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think starting off as friends is the closer? Like, do you think that brings more of the closeness within a relationship?
I wouldn't say we started out as friends. Like, we immediately started dating. But I feel like the friendship is the foundation of our relationship, because when times are hard or when you go through difficulties, that's something we can always revert back. Yes, 100%. That's what gets us through. Like, when we're mad and like you making a face that I can't help but laugh at, it's just like, okay, I actually like this person. Yeah. It's harder to fuss with somebody who you really like. Yeah, like, you really get on my nerves, but I love you.
Like,
so.
You lucky I love you.
Right.
It's okay. That's all right. I'll get you back.
That's how I feel.
I love that. I love the goofy side when it comes to relationships, to be able to bring that out. Even if you're having like a rough patch, you're like, you know what? I got a good joke for you. I'll tell you later.
Right.
So I think that's beautiful. I love it. So in the beginning, we had you pull out our fishbowl and you chose consistency. How important is consistency in your life?
This is one of my favorite quotes. Without commitment, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish. That's by Denzel Washington.
Yes.
I find that to be true every single day in this organization. It takes consistency to push through when you're getting the no's, to push through when you're asking for grant funding and people are like, you're not there yet, or you don't know what you don't know because you've never been in this arena before and you're just trying to figure things out. You have to still show up every day. I'm going to sit here. What am I going to figure out for today on my to-do list? I may not get it all right. I may not get it all accomplished, but I have to consistently show up. So it is part of my DNA at this point. Without it, I can't do anything. Consistency and discipline, I will say, are twin sisters for me. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, I feel like as entrepreneurs, if it's not for our consistency, who else is going to do it?
Right.
Unless you have a partner within that, partnership, or the, legacy of what you're building. You still need the consistency to do it, to thrive, to grow, to bump your head, to learn from something, because we all gonna bump our heads somewhere.
And it's necessary. You have to. That's how you learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's for sure. So what are the next steps in your life or business that you have, like, far as goals, like strong goals?
So the biggest goal for me was to, I'm in the process of publishing the Pregnancy Loss Guidebook. It's a guide to coping well after pregnancy and infant loss. So this is going to be part of the toolkit that we are donating to hospitals, for parents who have experienced loss. It's actually in manufacturing, being manufactured right now. Yes. I know, it's like really
congratulations.
I know, just to see it come to life. And then it has been a big goal to actually partner with hospitals. So far, we're partnered with the University of Michigan, with the DMC, Henry Ford. Like, those were dreams come true. So now that I've done that, it's like, okay, what next? So we know that, unfortunately, Black women experience issues like maternal mortality and heart disease and mental health disorders at disproportionate rates to women of other races. So this summer, I'm hosting a Talk It Out, Walk It Out event where we're talking about these disparities. We're walking as a demonstration to say we're a community. We're not standing for this anymore. We're going to do what we can do.
Yeah.
And then we're having a resource fair where we're connecting women to these resources to support their health, everything from their reproductive health. So organizations like Remembering Cherubs, or organizations that have like doulas and midwives that people can connect to, or even organizations like the Lupus Foundation. If somebody has lupus, this is somewhere they can get connected and learn more about it. Just health disparities that Black women face. We're going to plug you into these resources, and we're going to plug you into this community of people who look like you, who are saying it's cool to figure out how to be healthy. We're doing sound baths, and we're doing it all. It's going to be this big, amazing thing. So that is what's next.
Yes, that is
for us.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. I love the community sounding of it. I love the elegance of it. That's gorgeous. I love it.
Thank you. I hope awesome. You come.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me know all about it. And I'll definitely will share that information down below if we have a date by this time. I'll definitely put that in the description so everyone can know and get motivated. And definitely just join and get inspired, because I feel like they will learn a lot for sure.
Yes.
And I'll look forward to that book too.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And on the way.
Absolutely. Awesome. I love it. So over the years, what have you seen as the very big impact on you as just yourself as Monica?
I feel like as much as I'm preaching to other people and sharing the messages, it's really been about living it myself also. Particularly taking care of myself, taking care of my body, learning to listen to my body when it says, because we talked about being consistent. I tend to take it too far. Like, I got stuff to do. I don't got time to rest. And my body's like, okay, girl, you won't rest us, but we're going to rest you.
Exactly.
We're going to lay you right on down.
We're going to sit you right on down, dear. Like,
yes. So I have been experiencing that. So I'm like, okay, now I really got to find the line between being great in life and being great at taking care of myself, because it's easy to tell somebody else, oh, just rest, just do what you got to do.
Know.
But when you got to do it, it's like,
oh,
you be rubbing yourself like, oh, okay, I have to do this, So that's where I am now, is really measuring up to my greatest potential by taking care of myself and honoring myself above Remembering Cherubs, above my marriage, above everything else, because I'm not going to be anything for anybody if I'm not taking care of me. So
that's true.
Trying to live that.
That's true. Really. I deal with that every day. I'm so quick. I think we're so quick to give advice, some good advice to others, but then we gotta really like take our own words into consideration.
Yeah.
But we're so used to, I don't know, I guess we just let it work. We let it help. Loves to get it done, But we also like, your body like, I'm gonna just wait to shut down because you ain't clock out yet. So what we doing?
We can't do it to our detriment. Where now we're hurting because we're trying to help somebody else. Like, don't be a martyr. And that's what I've been doing. Like, girl, stop. This ain't it.
I feel that, yes. So before we close, did you have any questions?
Questions? What about you? You just asked me all these questions. I know you had some points that resonated. Based on the information that I've shared, what do you most connect with?
A lot of it, because you spoke more of the supporting aspect that I didn't really get when I lost mine. So I more so, once I told my parents about my loss, it was more so because I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to hear nobody's mouth. I didn't want to hear nothing. I was like, look, I'm dealing with this. I just wanted to let you know that I'm dealing with this, but I don't want a response. But when I told my parents about it, they were understanding. So I did respect that. They did say, you're not going to forget it, but you will heal, and everyone's not going to be in agreement of the fact that you did have a kid and now that you lost one. And I was like, you know what? As I sat back and thought about it, I'm like, the one thing that I feel like people don't understand when someone tells you they lost someone is that it's not about you. And you can have an opinion all day long, but that person is not going to care. It's not about you. It's about the fact they just lost something that was attached to them, that was growing inside of them. And you're thinking more of yourself and how you're being viewed versus how are you doing. You're not asking how you're doing. You're asking, oh, you did that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I didn't ask you how you feel about that.
And don't care.
It don't have nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had certain family members that were very upset that I was even pregnant to begin with. And I'm just like, this ain't about you.
And did you hear what I just
Did you
said?
right?
I
Did you
lost.
hear right? I was like, I
Yeah.
just went through
Yeah.
a traumatic night of losing my kid, feeling the pains because that pain was terrible. I was like, this ain't no period craps. Like, what is this? I was like, this is times 10. I was like, I just feel everything. I was like, what is this? And it's just like, I'm not caring about y'all. Like, this is not about you. And I remember it was one time I overheard a conversation with family, and one of the friends of the family that I didn't know, they were like, "Oh, well, Nae's the only one that don't have a kid yet," and it just hit me, and I was just like, okay. I had to walk away because I was like, actually, I would have been one already. Like my kid would have been 3 years old this year, and that's still his because it's like, where would I be? And you know what's even more messed up? The picture on my ID is the day I lost my kid. So it reminds me, it's a small trigger, but luckily it's not a trigger where I'm breaking down.
Right.
I'm crying or my emotions are all over the place. It's more so of like, okay, that was that day. You looked beautiful, but you got through it. It was hard, but you got through it. And also, I don't want to always pinpoint it all on the women either. It's also the spouses that wanted the kid as well. You got to look out for them too because they lost the kid too. It's not just about the mom, even though yes, the mom was the one carrying for sure, 100%. But how does the male feel about it? Is he okay too? Because the person I was with at that time, he couldn't handle that. That was a lot on him too. He's like, I literally just saw this happen. So it was like, and of course we were excited about it. We were doing great at that time. We had our own jobs, had our own house, car, whatever. But it felt like everything crumbled after that. It was like we're building a mountain, but now it's crumbled down. So yeah, facing that and just going through that, but now knowing that you're not alone through that. So
and what is that?
Hits too.
Why is there power in knowing that you're not alone? Like, what does that do for you?
If it makes you feel as if you are to know that you're not alone, it goes a long way for me because it's like in those heat of those moments you feel alone. You feel like I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk to others. I don't want to be social. Yeah, nobody understands how you feel. But then when you find someone that understands you, that knows what you're going through, you're like, "Hi, let's be friends. Let's talk about it." Like, because you feel like I can finally relieve whatever I feel because you've been through it too. You've walked through my footsteps before. And for some people that never been through it, how can you relate or how can you give the best advice to me if you never went through it yourself? So that's kind of where I get that from, like that energy from. Yeah, during that.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like somebody's going to hear that and be like, that's my story. She just repeated my story back to me.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to connect. And because of you, thank you for having me on this platform. Now they will be able to connect with somewhere that's going to take care of them.
Absolutely.
So
that's why I really also wanted you on because I'm like, I know, because the feedback that I got from when I did share my story in my first 2 episodes, that was hard to say.
You don't
but I don't. But I've been asked before I started the podcast. I was asked, "How do you want to start it? Where to start?" And I was asking myself that. I was like, "Okay, yeah, where can I start? How can I start? Where I'm going with this?" And I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'll be transparent, and I'm gonna express how I feel. People are gonna get to know who Nae is. And I was like, I want people to come on and share their stories, but what is my story? So once I questioned myself on that, that's how I started the first 2 episodes. And in the second episode, I was like, hey, disclaimer, this is a very deep episode. So if it's too heavy for you, you can, it's okay. Well, I'll see you at the next episode. Because sometimes hearing certain people's stories and it's so deep, it's like heavy, and you're just like, ooh. can I bear listening to
worse now.
Yeah, like I feel like she went through that, and it's crazy because a lot of people see how bubbly I am, how good and positive I am, but when they get to learn that little key factor of my history or my that's a part of my story, they're like, dang, you went through that? I would have never known. You would never know. Because who can come up and be like, oh, yeah, I lost a kid.
Right,
you know, nobody can. It's not an easy thing to just say.
Right.
Yeah, it's easy to say, but it's not easy to talk about.
You mentioned how dark and heavy it is, but this platform is shining a light in that dark space. And that's what I love. And I want people to be very conscious of the fact that we're not sitting here crying like, woe is me.
Yeah.
No, we're still moving on with life. And that's what people need to see. Because when you're at day one, you feel like, how am I ever going to feel different?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm never going to laugh again. I'm never going to be happy again.
Yeah.
And it's just not the case. So to see people who look like us, that's actually our tagline is healing starts here. Some groups, the vibe is like, come be sad with us. We're going to talk in these low tones. We're like, nah, girl.
We about to hype you up. We about to encourage you. We about to make you feel beautiful and elegant after it.
We're doing vision boards and we're doing trap yoga and we're doing all these amazing things. And of course, we leave room for grief and sadness, but that's not the only part of the story.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be sad.
Exactly.
You can tell your story, but you can live in it.
Yes.
You can tell your story, but you can live in it. And I feel
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get that. You can tell. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's like, hear the words. You can tell your story, but you can live in it. How are you walking out of this story? How are you continuing your chapters? Where are you going? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay today? If you're not okay today, that's okay. It's okay to not to be okay.
Yeah.
But just know you're okay though, because you got out of it. It's a new day. You got a new start. What we doing today? You know? So I think that's just beautiful too.
Yes.
So do you have any motivational words before we go?
Motivational words. Keep doing it. Like whatever your it is. Or if you were like me and you didn't know what your it was, like constantly be in search of it. People are always like, oh, I have to find my purpose. There's more than one. I'm doing this and I'm also going to be doing other things too. Like you have all these, organizations you've been talking about too. Find your things and do them because people need what you have to offer, but it also is healing for you. You're healing in some way. Every day I do this work, I'm healing in some way.
Yeah.
So I want other people to have that as well. So find your it, be consistent, and just rock it out.
Yes.
And I'm going to be rooting for you. Auntie Monica, so we're rooting for you.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. But are we coming back for part 2?
Let's do it.
All right.
We need the sequel.
Yes, we do. So for those that are listening, be on the lookout for part 2. That will be on our Patreon. And also become a subscriber to listen to it because it's only exclusive for you. It's a deeper dive into what we talked about, little things that we did not speak on. So stay tuned. Until next time, thanks again, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, guys. See ya.
Bye, guys.
It's a wrap. It was great seeing you. We're so happy you joined us for this episode. Can't wait to see you next time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And check out our information down below in the description. See you till next time. Bye.